You wrote to me that you had some additional questions or discoveries about position change notes.
So, yes, this I tried to break this framework to make it even more stable, and I think I can could I cannot do this, and this worked pretty well, and it increased the speed of markings very high. It's really very big deal to have this order, to know exactly how to determine it. I feel free to just correct for here or there, but in the whole, the rule is helping to do this even without the instrument. When sometimes teacher says that we should think about the music from the beginning, so we just need to play beautiful from the beginning and try to do our best to make the sound be beautiful from the beginning.
Well, this is generally what you said. It's a very good topic to discuss because, well, I heard about what you just said about the teacher saying that, but we also heard about practice with cold head, right? And hot heart, right? So usually cold head, they don't really explain cold mind. What does that mean? And that means that you know exactly what you do. And you also know exactly what you don't do. And you know exactly what you do right now, and you don't do anything that is not the right time to do yet. And there is lots of actually mind rewiring with my students about, hey, you're just on the stage of playing with correct movements, this is where you focus on, I don't know, intonating with arm weight, this is where you concentrate. You are not expressing articulations, you're not expressing dynamics, you're not trying to charge it with your emotions, you're not trying to somehow make phrasing to sound musical, because we're only supposed to play musical right from the beginning. And this is very, like so many times, especially on the first steps of where we just need to focus on movements and simple things, students start already playing with emotion and with forte. You know, where it's written, for example, forte, they start playing forte, and I was like, you're not playing forte because you have not created this yet in your mind. So come back to very weak hands, yes, and there is no accents. Yes, there are in the score, but we have not learned how to intonate them yet, so we're not making accents. And so this is what I think cold mind in practice mean. To know exactly where you focus on and do it layer by layer. And you know, also from a teacher perspective, it's also very sometimes confusing when, for example, a student would play for a teacher. What exactly the teacher is checking? You know, so like even with my students, when they start playing, I was like, wait a second, enlighten me, guide me in, what are you focusing on exactly? What exactly I need to check in your playing? What exactly are you trying to make in the piece? And this is such a strange concept for students to actually share before they play. Hey, so okay, I'm gonna focus on I'm gonna try to express this, I'm gonna express harmony, dynamics, I'm still not making phrasing, I'm just check my movements, my elbows, you know, because usually it's not like that. When we go to professor, it's like, I'm sharing my struggle and you tell me your view on that piece, you know, it's basically that.
If I see and feel the value of this layered approach when you do this. Only motions, then this and that. I practice not so much, but every day I try to hold this morning, evening, and I feel progress that comes naturally. And additional, what I want to say, when you do this, it's like you are on a rehab, and you have the opportunity to think about yourself, about your relationships with music, with playing, and you start to value this comfort sensation, within yourself, and understand that there's nothing to show off, there's nothing to perform for other people. You do this because you love it, and you find in this infinite progress, and this is very inspiring and joyful.
I was thinking also about what you said, that fear of being afraid not to play right away with correct dynamics or expression. That's kind of silly, because even when you're walking maybe sometimes on the beach and you see a beautiful artist, a painting, he's creating a painting, right? A scenery in front of him. And what do you see? Just a draft with his pencil. There's no colors, there is no, beautiful lines, and you're like, and he's like, just wait, I just started, right? So it's absolutely normal, to make those drafts, okay, I'm structuring this first, I'm making the blueprint for this sky, here are going to be clouds, but not right now, but they will be there, Yeah, and the second thing I wanted to say is that you will also find out later, right now you are adding you're focusing basically on three main things, right? Hand motion, internal singing, sound imagination. Later it's gonna be 15 things. And the only reason we can actually focus on them, or even later, on the last stage where we perform, actually completely forget about all that we've done, is if we layer by layer bring each element to muscle memory, to subconsciousness, to subconscious mind. Only then we can actually free our mind to add another layer. So in the end of the day, you will be focusing maybe on just 3 things when you finish the whole program. I don't know, on self-confidence, on musical image, on timing maybe, just very simple things, but very important things. But the rest of that, because that's why I call it piano ball system, it is connected like bits in a chain. They're linked. So by thinking about this, it's a little bit like you already done with posture. You think about intonation and arm weight, and you already feel the correct posture when you play. So that's a very good example, but this is just an example of one link, but there will be like 15 different links like this. So not only you bring, by practicing layer by layer, each layer to subconscious mind, but then eventually you're just able to focus on 3 things, and all other things will be there naturally without you even focusing on them, which cannot be achieved with this habitual old way of practice, when we just sight reading and already trying to express as much as we can because we're so musical, we're that musical. This is so important. Even now, some of my students, after studying with me for sometimes years, they still like, okay, darling, what are you doing there? Oh, I'm just performing this and that. Well, You have not imagined forte, no? No, then what are you playing forte? They're still there, you know? Forte in the score. Okay, I need to play forte. It's like Pavlov dogs. Reflex, reflex Pavlov dogs. Why do we need some texture?
Quick answer: to maintain our hands to be relaxed.
And it also enhances the sound, makes it more full.
Yes.
Yep, good.
Yes.
So when we describe sound texture, we're talking about imagining the pitch of a sound, imagining liquid texture of the sound, and imagining this motion of first going actually down and then adding some movement to the right or to the left. So can you expand a little bit more on these three elements? So what does it mean, pitch?
You actually had very good explain in the book. It's like when you have
Tune in your mind.
when you know, yes, when you know the tune or the song that you like, and you started humming, and the thing on what you oriented when you're humming is the thing is the pitch.
Imagining pitch doesn't involve imagining the sound of the piano. So it's not the pitch of the piano, it's not the sound of the piano. It's that shadow, echo, kind of aroma of the familiar tune in your mind. Okay, what about the liquid texture?
Oh, this is a very interesting idea. How have you come to this?
Actually, I started with just using different. It was actually experiment, and I remember at some point I was playing a Scriabin sonata, and I was trying to imagine each note as sparkles of the fire, and it did affect the sound and the touch, but unfortunately it produced just more tension here and this kind of very particular sensation that we actually want to avoid when playing. And this is what made me think that I just need to find, and I can imagine or add to the pitch one of the elements, whether it's we have earth, water, fire and air, but I need the ones that would be the most benefit to our muscles and keep the muscles more relaxed and make the sound more full. And the obvious choice was water. And when I started experimenting with that, of course I was thinking, how can I imagine notes in this liquid texture? What if I need to play, I don't know, a bright concerto by Mozart, right? Or again, coming back to Scriabin, you know, Sonata k Plameni, you know. And surprisingly, it did work because imagining sounds in this liquid texture gives just this prime, this base to express everything more on the top of that, and all the character and all the additional character of the sound as well would be achieved by other elements in the system, by by imagining harmony and dynamics and voicing, by intonating staccato and accents in a very precise way. um, so many other elements would influence that. So, because it's also actually a common question from students. So, like, do I imagine any, like, even if I play Rachmaninoff, like, I also imagine everything in the liquid texture? And the answer is yes, you can, and it would be really, really beneficial to technique and to musicality. So, so what is important to remember when we say imagine pitch in a liquid texture? So you should not imagine the shimmering water. Yeah, it's more, yes, it's more just a sensation. And what is the best way to actually somehow help, what is the best way to help yourself to find that liquid texture? Play the note on the pedal.
Ah.
Because that, when we play, when we hold the key on the pedal, we can see that how from two-dimensional, dry sound, we're going to three-dimensional, like a new portal is opening with the pedal, you know. Pedal is the soul of the piano, yeah? And so this, it crystallizes all those vibrations.
I just remembered, I had a thought about this, why actually we need to play with pedal to feel sound texture in watery texture. Analogy, it's like a drop that fall into the surface of water, and the vibrations, the circles, they are free. They are free. They are not controlled. It's not like a bow doing this. They are free. It's like a force of nature.
Okay, and the third element, so it's a pitch, imagining in the liquid texture of pedal. Okay.
By the way, when I practiced with the videos that you provide in the playlist, I want to say that they provoke a hypnotic effect. This, like a little, this when your hands and this is. It's like you are under the. It's like a magic. You do the magic.
Yeah, I read your comment there.
That's the feel. I think that was the purpose, and this is working. So the third element of sound texture is that we need to move it also, but not in the horizontal perspective, but in vertical. We need to do this, you know, hockey stick movement.
Again, another reason why I've chosen water is because the whole idea is in our imagination we're going to 3D, so instead of imagining flat, now we're imagining also going through and then right and left. And can you, so the water is the one that actually allows us to go through. If we dive in,
it has depth.
It has depth, so it dissolves this kind of two-dimensional soil, right? It's a magic thing. And so imagining pitch in liquid texture allows us to actually then move it down before we're adding some movement to the right or to the left. And so important to remember that when you move it down, you're not using any pressure or force. So it's all just very natural.
Yes, because the resistance is the job of intonation.
Yeah, there's no resistance in the notes, remember? While listening, you're trying to bring that sound down and then move it right to left. Okay. So that's why I wanted to explain. These images are really just to try at first, just to kind of get the idea through your singing and remember everything that you want to imagine. It's very good to sing out loud at the beginning. So singing this way, following this image, is really just helping for you to imagine the note down. It's just for this initial help to imagine sound texture with emotion, with a downwards emotion. Actually, would be a good question, why do we even need that downwards emotion? Because when we play and we imagine the note, first of all, liquid texture right away affects sensation in my muscles. And when I try to express that downwards in my imagination, it just creates here such a pleasant feeling, but natural feeling. So that actually eliminates we already use all good ways to eliminate any unhealthy tension, but if any tension would still occur here with the down motion, imagining sound texture in a liquid texture with going down, that just dissolves, like with water, just dissolves any unhealthy tension here. This becomes completely natural and effortless, that movement. And so as a result, the sound just sings, and the sound is just melted and powerful and wonderful. I mean, you definitely avoid with this method any harshness of the touch or tone. So at the end of the day, and I said here that it was not really possible for me on 2D, right, to write like this is down and then horizontal and then, but it's not really second note, it's not really lower. It's kind of appearing on the same level in your mind.
Yes. Yes, I understand this. Because when if just straightforward copy and paste this in real imagination, it doesn't work. So behind those pictures, there is an idea. They are abstract pictures to just give you a clue for the idea. For example, I struggled when I did this downwards movement too much. It's like
yes, very important. Not too much. It has to be cut short.
You need to do this very little in order to simply feel that you have this initial downwards movement, but then it's still horizontal. So you can do that very millimeters, but you need to feel this movement down. Movement may be even very, very, very small, but
yes.
Is
that's why I actually sometimes, like you said, it's very abstract, and sometimes I'm just saying, listen, it's the same as imagining strings with sound movement to the right and to the left. Keep the same line, but now just substitute the color of the strings with pitch and liquid texture, the one that you get from listening to the pedal. gives a good idea of what it means. And in the beginning, just a little bit downwards motion with it like liquid texture. And then just
It's
go
like
on.
pressing the key, like pressing the key.
But this is what
down
it
and then-
is.
no?
Yeah, this is what it is. This is what it is, and this is how you control that touch.
Cool. So before we just did this horizontal, but now we take care of how we press the key. That's the answer.
Yeah, if you
This-
look at it that way. But again, the whole thing is that in my system I emphasize we don't play with our fingers. Fingers are just channels, like the branches of the tree or whatever, to connect. But it's the wrist. It's the whole form, the hand that is touching the key, not the finger. So it's important to keep in mind. And so
Yeah, we deepen with our whole body into the key, and then go left or right.
Exactly. Exactly. But we do it with no pressure. That's why there's no resistance in our imagination when we go down. And we do it with a very relaxed hand. That's why we need a liquid texture of the sound. Very good. Very good.